Hi guys, welcome to Pilates Mat Sculpt. We're gonna go ahead and get started on our mat. You'll need a ball and some weights if you have them. But we'll start standing at the top of your mat, just reaching your right arm over and then left arm over, grabbing the opposite wrist and just opening up the side bodies. So moving our way into a lunge with a little rotation here. So on your exhale, you lunge out, you rotate from the ribs, and then you inhale, stepping back to start. So exhale, rotate, and then adding some pulses here, adding some rotation deeper through the rib cage, just warming up the body here in those twists. Start to fire up those side abdominals, but keeping your posture nice and tall throughout. Good. From here, folding down to your mat and then rolling yourself up one vertebra at a time. Good. Sitting into a little bit of a chair position and then folding back over. Curling your spine up one vertebra at a time. Good. Folding it back over. And then again, let's sit back into that chair. Good. Warming up the spine, getting some movement in the body. And then just rolling out those shoulders, circling the arms backwards. And then starting to circle forward, so getting some movement. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get started in Pilates V. So if you have your weights, grab them. You're just pulsing up and down, closing your elbows towards one another as you lower deeper into that squat. Good. From here, let's take the elbows by your side. You serve the platter and then you flip the wrist, you flip the palms to face down to the floor. So elbows tuck in by your side, you squeeze your biceps and flip your palms down as you press out. Okay, so adding that pulse through the legs, using your core, and then staying nice and low. Elbows tuck in, just alternating the arms as you serve the platter. Good job, guys. From here, we're gonna take it out to plie. So overhead tricep extension. You bend that weight behind you and then you squeeze your triceps to press up towards the sky. So using your core for stability here, trying not to let the shoulders creep up to the ears. Good. From here, we plie and then we punch across. So think about keeping your hips from twisting as you punch. You're rotating again from the core, punching across the body, exhaling as you punch. Now try to sit nice and low in that plie, knees over heels. Good, nice and low, right arm over left here, arms in front, shoulder height. And then let's switch, same thing. Left hand over the right, little pulses, really getting into the upper body here. And let's come down to the mat, good job. All right, so this one's challenging. You're gonna have your right arm, left leg back behind you, and then you just start to lift and lower your right foot. Good. Same thing, other side. This really fires up those deep abdominals here that help us with stability and just get them fired up for our core workout. So in our plank position, you're pressing away from the floor. You're just tapping one foot outside of your mat and then back at the midline. So feet are together on your tippy toes and you're just tapping out and in. Now try and do this without shifting your whole body. Good. Now starting to go across. So opposite knee towards the opposite elbow, getting more into those side abdominals, those obliques. Think about exhaling to crunch across, nice and strong, still lengthening through the crown of the head. Go ahead, that's it. Then stepping through with that right leg, holding it here. Good. Nice and strong, getting deep into the core, and then making your way back in. Let's step it through. Left leg goes under. We hold nice and strong, pressing away from the floor, and then connect back to the mat. Good job. From here, we'll lower down and just start to warm up the back of our body, pressing away from the floor as we rise the chest and shoulders. Good. Setting up for our forearm push-ups. You'll press up with the forearms and then tap the opposite shoulder, lowering back down. So I want your pubic bone to stay connected to your mat. Your legs nice and long, feet parallel, hip distance apart. You press up, squeezing the back of the arm, those triceps. Exhale, press, and then tap, tap. Good. Good. From here, let's add some pulsing. So gunning down halfway, bending the elbows, tiny little movements, really getting deep into the back of the arms, nice and strong, sculpting those arms here. Good. Finding your breath. Still keeping that pubic bone connection to your mat as you do this. Awesome job, guys. Forearm plank is next. Pressing up onto your forearms. You'll tap the right knee to the mat. Good. Think about using your core to lift back up. Try not to let the body sink when the right knee goes down. Good. From here, let's do that left side. Tapping the knee, using your breath, lengthening through the crown. Little taps. Good. All right. Meeting on your left side. So if you have your ball, you can use it to support you underneath the rib cage. If not, don't worry about it. But your knees are off the mat. So you're just opening and closing that top knee with your heels together. A little clam here. Starting to wake up that outer hip and glutes on the right side. Good. Pressing away from the floor with the left arm. Keeping everything nice and long, belly button to the spine. And then you'll extend that bottom leg out nice and long. You're gonna take the top leg, point your toe to go forward, flex your foot, squeeze your glute to take it back. Okay, so point forward, flex back. As you flex back, you're squeezing your glute to send it back in line with your hip. So we don't want your whole body to tilt. We don't want your pelvis to shift. So use your core to help stabilize your trunk and just isolate that glute as you squeeze back, okay? So keep everything nice and long. Then taking it up a notch, you're gonna press up onto your left hand and your left knee, lifting that right leg in line with your hip. You're flexing your foot and you're adding those leg lifts. Good. Nice and strong here. And then we'll come down. You'll start to curtsy behind the left knee and then kicking, squeezing out towards the side. Good. So curtsy behind, squeeze and kick. So I want you on your fingertips for this one. So really pressing away, trying to keep this nice and strong throughout the whole body. So shoulders, core, glutes, everything is working here. Try not to let your head fall forward. So bring it back in line with your spine. Keep that space between your ears and shoulders. Good. So try not to dip into that whole left side as you kick. All right, let's do the other side. On your right forearm, same thing. We're just lifting, opening and closing that top knee. Good. Starting to wake up that outer hip and glute here. Again, core is active, so belly button into the spine. We'll extend that bottom leg nice and long out, and then take the top leg, flex, and point. So we point forward, we flex to squeeze it back. Good, and just remember, we want to try not to shift the whole body here. So try to keep your trunk nice and stable, core active. So we're squeezing the glute to send it back, keeping the rest of the body as still as we can. All right, from here, let's press up onto that right hand, right knee, lift the left leg in line with your hip, and let's add those leg lifts. So flex foot here. We're keeping everything strong, good. And then coming back down to your fingertips. You curtsy and squeeze to kick. So curtsy, squeeze to kick. Nice job. Big exhale, inhale. Good. So we're using our core for this one. That way we don't kind of tilt all the way over into our right side. And we're squeezing, actively squeezing that left glute as we kick it out. All right, back into those glutes, adding some more inner thighs if you have your ball, placing it between your inner thighs, but make sure it's away from your knees. So you're pressing into your heels, your pelvis is slightly tucked under, belly button is into the spine. You're squeezing your glutes at the top and you're taking little pulses. So you come down an inch, up an inch, really small, growing tall. Now place your hands behind your hips, extend the right leg long, hold it here, isometric hold. We're really getting into that left side. Good, you got it. Lengthening through the crown, stretching the right leg as long as you can. Good, lengthening the hamstring. And then lowering down. Left leg goes long, same thing. We stretch, we lengthen, we hold, pressing deep into that right heel, firing up that right glute. Try not to let the hips shift. Go ahead, lowering back down. From here, we'll lower back to the mat and then just roll yourself up one vertebra at a time and then roll yourself down one vertebra at a time. So getting some movement back in your spine, engaging your glutes, squeezing that ball back into those inner thighs. Good. From here, really small movements, little hip dips. So you dip your left hip towards the floor just an inch, and then the right hip. Really tiny. Try to stay lifted. Try not to let your lower back arch. So keep your pelvis tucked. Keep it lifted. Using your hands behind you if you need. Just make sure you're not sinking into it and hurting your back. So use your glutes. All right, now squeezing that ball in and out, back into those inner thighs. We're nice and strong, still lifted up into that bridge, and then we'll lower it down. Good job, guys. Hug your knees in towards your chest. All right, we've got some more core work. So if you have your ball, place it behind you. You kind of scooch it underneath like the tailbone, low back area. If not, just kind of stay in a little tucked under C-curved position. We're just adding some bicep curls with a little crunch movement. So you're lifting up slightly. Then taking the weights together, we rotate to the left and we hold. Make sure your hips, knees, and ankles haven't shifted. And then we rotate to the right and we hold. So we'll still be tucked under, belly button in towards the spine. We're just rotating from the ribs. Good. Once you're even, go ahead, send your arms up and over towards your toes and stretch that out. Good. From here, we're going to meet on that left side, C-curved position, bicep curls. Staying here nice and strong in our core. Make sure those hips, knees, ankles are still in line. They haven't shifted. Good. Coming back to center, we'll twist to the right. Same thing. Think about squeezing those biceps, keeping that C-curve in the spine nice and strong. Good. Big exhales. Remember, try not to shift those knees. All right, good work, guys. Meeting with your leg in a tabletop position, alternating back and forth here, just adding little crunch pulses. So think about bringing your hands towards the front. You're moving from the rib cage. Bring your ribs closer and closer and closer to your hips. Good, so little pulses here. You got it, nice and strong. Firing up those obliques, keeping that belly button from popping up, and then taking your hands behind your head. From here, you lower your head to the mat. You crunch up as you bring your knees towards you. Good, so you tap the feet towards the mat as you lower the head. We only want to go down as low as we can keep that belly button from popping up, right? So low back towards the mat, we lower, and then we meet in the middle. Bicycle crunches are next. Opposite elbow, opposite knee. Remember, trunk stability, pelvic stability, keeping that belly button in, the low back down. Everything is nice and stable. And then back into those crunches, tapping the feet as you lower the head towards the mat. And again, you don't have to tap all the way, just enough to fire up those low abs. I want you to feel this below your belly button, but make sure you keep it pulled in nice and strong. Good. Back into those bicycles. You got this. Starting to really feel the burn here. Big exhales and inhales. Relaxing those shoulders, keeping your collarbone nice and wide. And then back into those crunches. You got this. Lowering your feet, crunching up from the ribs, keeping that chest open, nice and strong here. Good. And then bicycle crunches. Good job, guys. Good. That's it. Still keeping that belly button in. And then let's roll yourself up. From here, maybe trying a little teaser, straightening the legs and arms, keeping that C-curve we've been practicing. Good work, guys. All right, we made it to the stretch part. So let's go to all fours. You're gonna hold each pose. So really feel the abdominals lengthen out as you arch, breathing through that, and then rounding the spine, releasing the back. Good. Lastly, we'll meet with the hands behind you, pointed backwards, opening the chest and shoulders. And then finally, just sending the legs nice and long out in front, reaching up to the sky, fold it over. Nice work, guys.